HRP, Agnes Mweni, who is going to take you through training needs analysis for Monday and Tuesday. That is 2 days. So if you can remind ourselves a bit of what we learned yesterday, anyone who can remember something, even just a bit of what we learned, if you can go through it quickly before we progress. You may have at least 1 or 2 people saying something.
Maybe I can say something.
Thank you. Please go ahead, Kihara.
Yesterday, you told us about the importance of work-life balance and why it's important for both the organization and the employee.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to add something?
The main benefit that I learned yesterday is that, one, when you have a work-life balance, you keep your employees motivated. It also helps to build the professional and professional and personal relationship, assist in achieving organizational goals, because when you have a motivated employee through the work-life balance, the employee is able to give his or her best.
Yes.
And it also helps in improving our levels of efficiency as an organization. And it enables us, the employee is able to see that the organization is putting the human aspect into the organization. It's not all about work.
True. Thank you very much, Kihara. That's really like a whole cycle of most of what we learned. Someone else wants to share just one other, then we can go on. One other. Okay, it looks like nobody else is willing, so maybe we just move on so we don't waste time. So we'll start doing something different today. So I'll get to picking what we need to look at. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
You can see the screen?
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much. So yesterday we did the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Today we'll do 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there are 8. But they'll be a little shorter than yesterday. Yesterday I think was too much, but at least we got something out of that. So today we are going to work on explaining the process of 1 minute. Okay, so can you see my slide? Sorry about that. You can see the slide well, isn't it?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. So we are saying that today we are going to talk about explaining the process of work-life balance. Then we shall also look at the steps of work-life balance planning. Then we'll list factors considered for work-life balance options. We shall also explain the various work-life balance options. Then we'll look at the strategies to improve work-life balance, then describe the manager's role in work-life balance. That is manager, including even the HR's role in it, the HR manager's role, and even a leadership role in terms of being in management. And then we'll also look at describing challenges of work-life balance planning. Always the challenges in everything we do, so we'll look at that again. Then a few tips on work-life balance planning. Then we shall be done for the day. So you're welcome. And there's already a comment here. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. You can see the screen. That's very nice. So then we look at the process of work-life balance. I'll take you through this quickly. So a process of work-life balance looks like this. It's important that it's done holistically. It's done holistically. So it's very important that there's inculcation of the strategy within the process, because you cannot be also implementing something when you have no strategy in place that helps you even achieve what you want to achieve. So like we said yesterday, organizations exist because of certain things. And when these organizations exist, they want to move from one point to another level. So as they are doing all these things, even in the work-life balance plan in terms of a process, it should be something that could be inculcated into the strategy. And then as you're doing that, also it's important that departments are involved, because you cannot also work on a strategy on your own. So it means you're involving other departments, you're involving other employees, you're even communicating openly with these employees so they get to know exactly what you are doing or what you intend to do in terms of bringing in or making the process work well for you. Then, of course, there's an aspect of also pilot testing. Sometimes you find that in every case that people work on, or maybe a research that people work on, they get to want to do a pilot study or a pilot test before they eventually bring out what they really want to bring out. And then, of course, it's also important that the culture of the organization is known or is understood, so it helps you get to achieve what you want to achieve. So there's also an aspect of selection, where we identify a pool of multiple potential employees and multiple potential work-life balance options. Very important that this is done, because then it helps you also understand, sometimes this work-life balance does not work for everyone else, but there could be a way you can choose a few team members whom you can work with, who can now help you then identify potential employees and multiple potential also work-life balance options, which would be good to use at that point in time. Then, of course, there will be an aspect of developing formal selection criteria. And selecting a criteria would help you pick out certain statistics of what you really need at that point in time for use. Then there'll be providing manager training on this selection, because again, sometimes you find that sometimes things are done in an organization, and if employees don't follow closely, if they don't understand exactly what you want to do, then they'll not help achieve the results that are desired. So it's good that even some training is done to help manager in terms of even selection, so they're able to even match their selection with the tools you have already identified and get you the best way forward. So there's also an aspect of development where mandate development planning and follow-ups as part of the process. It's really important that development is done. Development is just getting to understand the maturity of even the people that are going to be developed or that are going to be part of this process, that are going to benefit from the work-life balance, and even the rest of the team members, just to get to understand where is the maturity standards. So it's important that follow-ups are done in terms of even understanding how they are progressing with the process, if they are going to be part of the process. Then bonuses could be tied to planning and participation. And then it's really important that you create development plans tailored to individual needs and work-life balance opportunities. Again, work-life balance sometimes does not work for everyone else. So that's why we talk about options all the time. So it's important that during development, options are also considered, such that some work-life development opportunities are given to some employees and others to other employees, depending on what would be key for them or what is really useful for them to work with. And then it's also important to use job rotations and other work-related projects for work-life balance development. That means you're exposing employees, giving them more exposure to understand what goes on even in other areas of the organization. So they don't imagine that they're the only ones feeling like they're being bogged down by maybe the kind of work they're doing. Maybe even what they're doing would be lesser in terms of stress than maybe what they're thinking someone else is going through. And again, as they do that job rotation, there's an aspect of collabo in terms of even communicating, trying to get one or two things from the person you have maybe changed roles with. So because of that collabo in terms of dialogue, you'll find that it's already making you have some sense of feeling that you can share one or two things in that communication, work-wise and maybe even home-wise, or maybe even just that change of desk could make you feel like, yeah, it's making you be a bit more vibrant at place of work, meaning at least giving you some kind of percentage in terms of balancing the stress management and maybe time management. Then we have the program maintenance. where we are going to be why it's important to keep the work-life balance process simple and efficient. It's really important that anytime a work-life balance process is being worked on, it is just simple and efficient. Simple in that it's not so complicated for now people to start thinking or wanting or asking so many questions because they don't understand. So Priscilla is saying, good morning. The machine I'm using has no camera. That's understood. Okay, so sorry about that. Someone is saying, is my video on? Can you guys see my video? My video is on, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you very much, because it looks like maybe, or were they not, or am I the one? Can you see me? Maybe you're not seeing me.
No, we are seeing you.
We can see you.
So, okay. So I think there's an issue. Someone had an issue here. They can't see me. I think there was just something that happened. Maybe I had not started, or maybe they themselves on their side were not seeing me. And that's okay. So again, we're talking about program maintenance when we are when we are working on a process of work-life balance. Program maintenance in terms of keeping it short, keeping it simple would be good, because there are times again you want employees to really catch what you are telling them. So if it is a process that is going to be very painful even for them to understand, then they can even like drop it and just go on with their work. So it's really important that it's simple, and that simplicity could make it even more efficient then, because you find that they catch whatever it is and work with it, and it helps them also then have that fuller life. The approach the work-life balance process flexibly and evolve it continuously. So what we are saying here is that, again, it's important that it has some flexibility of sorts. So it's just not cast on stone, because you find that we have options that would work well for candidate X and not well for the other candidate. Or today, or maybe this season, this approach is working well, but another approach works well in another season. So all that flexibility is important that is incorporated in terms of making it an involving kind of activity. Yeah. Then, of course, the process of work-life balance in terms of now like concluding is that there's an aspect of evaluation. Every project that people work with normally have an aspect of evaluation, because you already want to even understand how well it is going, how well did it go, how effective was it, and did it achieve the goals that were supposed to be achieved at that point in time. That would then inform you of whether you could pursue the same, or maybe some of the areas you need to change on, or you need to improve on to make it even more successful. So then we are saying that set specific goals for work-life balance planning programs and measure effectiveness of them regularly in achieving work-life balance goals. So very important, continue monitoring so you get to understand how effective they have been in an effort to supporting you as an individual and as an organization. So that's all in terms of process, unless someone has a question. So there's a tip here. If someone can read for us, a volunteer can read, please read this tip for us before we go to the next one.
Can I read?
Yes, please.
As a manager, the best way to bond and understand work-life concerns of your team members is to have a dedicated routine of having one-on-one time with each of your team members. So set some time aside each week to sit with your team members for a one-on-one chat. You can discuss about their work life and also personal life problems, etc. You can use this time to build a relationship with each other, each of your team members. You can ask your team members to just talk about what is on their mind about their lives or anything that's frustrating them. Thank you.
Wow. So as we can see here, it's more about dialogue. So this thing works well when there's a lot of dialogue, because Imagine even if you are just an employee on your own, working alone in a room, or working alone in an organization in a closed door kind of setup. If no one ever comes to that office a whole day, it could also be frustrating, or it could seem very odd or awkward. Okay, there are days we get so busy, but even in our busy schedules, there are times we need just a little time to get someone to poke you up and just say hi. Even just that hi alone can make a big difference. So what we're saying here is that it's good to have that dialogue one-on-one, team members, just to get to understand how they're progressing, how they're doing, maybe some of the things they need to support them. That alone already will be like initiating or improving the work-life balance they need. Maybe that's all they need from you as even a leader. Talk to them, say hi to them, just understand how well they came, they had issues even coming to work in the morning. You know, a few minutes spent with the employees would make them feel so valued and appreciated. So then we have steps of work-life balance planning. Steps of work-life balance planning. So the following are the steps for work-life balance planning process. So first of all, it's important to identify the current and the future work-life balance. Here we are, here. It's important to identify current and future work-life balance needs and competencies for positions. What we are saying here that if you identify this work-life balance needs and competencies for positions, then it is really easy for you to know how well employees would work in achieving some of the objectives you have put forward for them, because we have certain jobs that are very stressful. We have certain jobs that are just like calm and whatever. But of course, there are some things you as a manager can understand and can even know that this would affect this employee like this, and this would affect an employee like this. So by the time you're even like saying you have a work-life balance, it's important that you identify the current and future work-life balance, the needs that would be there depending on the competencies of the job that is there. Maybe just the environment within which these employees work from is the issue, is what makes them really feel like there's a need for something there. So it's important to keep log of everything you do, or everything these even employees do, to get to understand and get even some data that would help you get to now knowing how, or some of the strategies that would help you in terms of working out the work-life balance. So in terms of planning, important to get this, identify the current and the future. And also identifying this would also be an eye-opener for future progress and for even understanding what worked well, what did not work well, whether time management was an issue, and whether you are tracking even time appropriately. Okay. So then next, we are going to look at developing a work-life balance related communication strategy. Important, after identifying this, after identifying the current and future work-life balance needs, it's important that you develop a work-life balance related communication strategy. Why would you have a communication strategy? There's a way in which you can work with the employees or work in a structured manner. So it's important that you develop a communication strategy, because it's also key that boundaries are outlined or are spelled out. Boundaries are spelled out, setting smart limits in terms of what is it you want to do, what is it you want to achieve, what are the timelines within what it is that has to be achieved is, and maybe even giving specifications of what to do and by when. So very important that is done. Then of course, there's also the determining of critical positions at employees. After you have identified and you've even developed a communication strategy, it's also important that you determine the critical positions and even employees that need that work-life balance support. So you find that again, in as much as everyone else would want or would need that support in terms of work-life balance, there are few specific or key areas that you must look at to get to know that these are heavy areas, or these are areas where you might not even need an employee to get distracted, whether at work or back at home, in terms of their deliverables. So you'll find that you start identifying that to be able to know even what to be done, what is to be done, what should not be done in terms of what you're going to be developing, and even what you need to do more of, because there are times you find that maybe you are giving employees little breaks. Maybe you need to give them a little more breaks than what you are giving. So then you get to also understanding that in terms of determining these positions that need that support. And it can also be an eye-opener in helping you understand what is it you can do differently. Maybe you are so used to the monotony way of it's already structured and it is there. So this is the way it is done all the time. Is there a way maybe it could be done differently because of that position at that point in time, or because of the uniqueness of the employee who is holding that kind of position? Then you can identify expected work-life balance needs. After determining this, then at least it's easy for you to then identify the expected work-life balance needs, because you've looked at an all-round kind of setup, and you've looked at these positions. You've already identified or known that these positions could be very, disorienting, or need a lot of concentration, or are very taxing, or need a lot of mind-boggling thought processes and all that. So you find that out of all that, you then identify expected work-life balance needs that would be suitable for that position or for that kind of employee. So then priority again should be given at this point in time to the employee as a person, because it's all about their own life. Then also looking at their physical and mental wellness at that point in time, because that is what will make them then give their best shot to the organization. So it's all about like saying first things first. Other steps of work-life balance planning would include identifying gaps in the current employee situation and candidate work-life balance expectancy levels. Yeah, most of what we'll have to look at is maybe, let's say, confirming status of these employees, because sometimes, again, sometimes we employ or we recruit and we don't understand the status of these employees. So we are just employing them and already putting them in some status to start like operating. The other day at where I work, there's an employee whom we recruited, but apparently she was like on maternity leave, which was like short. She had just started her she had not even started maternity leave. She was just about to get her baby. So by the time now she came for interview, the ladies also with their body structure, sometimes you can't see, but she was very open enough and told us that this is what is going on, blah, blah. After the interview, she told us that. So fortunately, again, she was the best candidate. Though we needed the job was very critical in terms of the need. So anyway, we contacted her and she said, fine, she can take her leave, but once in a while, she can plan to be coming to oversee the area that she needed to oversee. So of course, those are some of the things you could be looking at. How do you balance expectancy levels of this employee vis-a-vis your own? Because we could not also just push her to tell her that, you'd either take the job or not. She's the best candidate. How do we support her to even make her now feel like, yeah, this is an employer of choice? So in terms of planning, sometimes you work with confirming even status of these employees, understanding them and getting them to work with them. So you also, in as much as you are telling them your current practices, they also have expectations from you to help the two of you like work together. They're giving you, and you are also giving them in return something that would be of value to them to make them continue enjoying their work. Then develop a work-life balance strategy. And why we do this is that then it helps to like build a roadmap. If you develop a strategy would help you to build a roadmap. It would help to also align your organizational goals with the functions you're going to be operating on. And it will help you then achieve the deliverables you're supposed to be achieving. So it's simply something to do with like decision-making. Develop a work-life strategy, balance strategy that would help you to develop a roadmap that would help you then achieve what you're going to achieve in a strategic manner, and can help you then like bring out a bit of decision-making, which is like planned or which is structured. Okay, so there's a supplement HR functions to include active work-life balance implementation. Supplement HR functions to include active work-life balance implementation. What we mean here is that by supplementing HR functions to include active work-life balance implementation, is just bringing in something a bit more interactive, a bit more since we have now been enabled to work from home, and are more productive. I think even after Corona, we can extend this work from home to ladies on maternity. Wow. So that they're able to give their best while also taking care of the baby. This very good input to Wangeshi. Very good input. Wangeshi is saying that since we have now been able to work from home and are more productive, I think even after Corona, we can extend this work from home to ladies on maternity. So they're able to give their best while also taking care of their baby. This is very good input, by the way. You find that sometimes people would even give more when they are nearer their families than when they're at work, because at work, again, they could be bogged down with so much thought of, is my nanny there? Is my nanny doing this? You know, you have been on leave for maybe for those 3 months or 4. So day one, you're leaving your baby and you're getting to work a whole day, 8 hours or maybe 7 hours. You have, first of all, 2 hours to get to work. So you're woken up so early to get there. It is something that could be considered, and I'm sure there are people doing that. And even Wangeshi, for our staff whom we just onboarded, we are doing that. We get them to, we've flexed even the time. So they come just shortly. And once they arrive, they do pap, then they have their meetings, then they can go home. So most of the time they just come like, they've just now done 2 weeks. So they come just for a few hours, then they get back. And of course, in those few hours, there's so much they can deliver. And when you see them even arriving, they're really vibrant and feeling nice with themselves. Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. Wesley is saying that's a good one. Wangeshi, that's really nice. So Wesley is supporting that. So it's something to consider, by the way, because going forward, we are operating in a very dynamic setup, in a very extraordinary time. And there are things we just have to work with, because again, it's really a challenge to start even conditioning people to come to work very early when you know very well that they might not even make it on time. Already they're stressed back at home. They're getting again to this maybe this matatu, which is again exposing them differently. So they're getting to work. Yes, the work area has been sanitized and everything is there, but when they get onto the matatu, the life there is a bit different. And maybe you're going to stay 2 hours. It is raining, so all the windows are closed. Then again, you get home. So you'd even be more worried for the family back home again. So that is really nice. That's really nice input. Thank you for sharing that. If someone else has something to say, maybe they can also say before we progress with these steps. Okay, so we are saying that when we develop a work-life balance strategy, it provides a roadmap. And we are saying that, well, we supplement this, yes, supplementing. So how do we supplement? That's what Wangeshi was talking about in terms of bringing in that flexi work time and making even employees work more from home than even going to work. But again, Wangeshi, there was someone who was saying that, how do you monitor how much they put in terms of the work they are doing? I think this is something debatable, because again, do we want to micromanage our staff? Maybe this staff who is working from home is better at home because they work at night. So they spend more time working at night and they have now more time maybe with family daytime. I think there's that kind of arrangement that could work, but we have organizations that still monitor their employees and kind of micromanage. So if your work is like inputting data, they keep checking to see how much data you have input before you the end of the day, and they keep even calling to find out why is it that there's no activity on the portal. So you start wondering again, why is it that there's this monitoring? So it can be again stressful, but it all depends on what employers want and how they have collaborated with their employees to achieve what they need to achieve. I mean, I think it's important that whatever has been said to be achieved is achieved. How you do it, if you're working from home, I think should not be a big deal, but something for debate. Okay, so again, another step is to create work-life balance related assessments and selection tools. So sometimes we also create these tools because we have to offer some guidance of sorts. You cannot just be working in a planning session and you don't even have tools of work. You don't even know how to guide the team members in what you want to be achieved. So it's important that you offer guidance, and then getting these tools would also help you to get a defined technique of working out the plan. It would also make you then get to understand how to make informed decisions, because there's a tool we are using, just like we talk about the scientific selection tool in terms of recruitment. What do we look at? The criteria. We do the interview method, we do the screening, then we do the other, all those, that could be a tool that could be used to help in creating a proper work-life balance related selection tool that would help in picking the right candidates to be supported in terms of the work-life balance. So again, here, inventories could be kept because those inventories could help in, at some point, these inventories can help with just understanding what went on and what worked and what did not work out at that point in time in terms of supporting these employees. Unless someone has a question there, we could progress. Question there? Anything that needs clarification? Okay, so then we move to the following. The steps are still continuing. So we have, again, the next step is to develop an evaluation plan for work-life balance management. Develop an evaluation plan for work-life balance management. Why would you develop an evaluation plan for work-life balance management? Evaluation plan. Maybe we do this because we need to, like, let's say, eliminate any conflicts that would come our way. We want to enhance efficiency, so at least there's a structured way of doing things. We want to also bring in some level of satisfaction between the people who are working on this tool. And then, of course, it's important that we also help them manage time at some point. So it's important that we develop an evaluation plan for work-life balance management. So we get to understand, because again, when timelines are not put on something, you might find that it's going on, and there's no value in it, but you might not even be getting anything out of that. But when this evaluation tool and plan has been put in place, it helps you understand whether it is working or whether it's not even working. So then you get to know how to progress in the next level. Then you can develop individual work-life balance development plans for employees. Yeah. Help them to operate from home, work from home, like Wangeshi has said, allow them even more time, even after delivery or after maternity leave, to continue working from home until they're comfortable to come back to work full time. Something like that could be more manageable. And help them to even manage their stress, like we were saying yesterday, those components of work-life balance. How do they self-manage themselves? Allow them to manage their stresses by themselves. Allow them to be able to even manage their time. That's why we are saying that there are those who even can work at night and work better at night, and at daytime they're doing something different. Allow them to also operate on a change management kind of arena in terms of looking at it as a work-life balance option. So that would be something to consider. And then develop and implement work-life balance coaching and mentoring programs. These are developed because then you want to use the expertise of this coaching and mentoring aspect to help you going forward. You also want to develop the existing employees through that mentorship and whatever, and you also want to improve the employee experience. Employees also feel like they must be gaining something out of everything that is happening within the organization. So that employee experience for the coach or even for the mentor and the mentee, it all works out well, because then this coach also derives satisfaction that they have helped in making someone achieve something. And the mentor also would feel great, because if an organization can identify you as a mentor or as a coach to a certain function, then it means you have some uniqueness within you, or you have actually battled with this and have reached a point where you can manage it well. So you help other employees manage their work-life balance arena. Then it's important to assist
Have we lost Jocelyn?
I think so.
Yeah, I can't hear her too.
I thought it's only me.
Probably a connectivity issue. She should be back, I'm sure.
Hello.
Hello there. Is Mwalimu on? Is Mwalimu on?
No, she's not. We are still waiting.
It looks like there's some connectivity issues. I think technology, maybe power. So it's really sad, but it's okay. Let's just wait.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry. The issues of
Hi.
power,
Hi, guys.
power just went off. and I
Jocelyn,
was
we
now-
can't hear you.
I'm saying
We can hear.
you can hear.
Yes, now it's okay.
Sorry. I'm saying issues of power. Power
We
just
still
went
can't
off. and
hear you. I don't know whether the others can hear you or it's just me.
We can
just-
hear
I
her.
can hear. We can hear you, Mwalimu.
We
Thank
can hear
you.
you.
Thank you. So Jane Wanjo, he may be a problem on your side. Is it Jane who is talking?
No, I don't have a problem. I can hear you.
I think it's Kihara.
Kihara, it's you with a problem, maybe on your side.
Okay, I'm back. I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Issues of being at home, then you just find the power has. In fact, it was already stressing me and I was wondering what is all this. So anyway, thank you very much for staying put. So let's hope it's not going to happen again, but that is now beyond me, it's not me. Let's get back to viewing our slide. So can you see my slides again?
Not yet.
Not yet. Just a minute, just a minute. Share. Okay, there we are. I'm so sorry, this power thing is really, yeah?
Mwalimu, we must be in the same location. My power had gone and come back, but.
Are you in Rongai?
No, I am not.
Yeah, I'm in Rongai, so you can imagine.
I'm in Langata.
Ah, okay. So something along the same direction. Okay, so can you see my slides anyway?
Yes, we can see you, Mwalimu.
So we were just finalizing on this, assisting with the work-life balance related leadership engagement, transition, and development. This again would bring us back to like the Kaizen strategy, such that there's more assistance in terms of something has happened. Yes, we have already gone through all this, but is there a way that there's some sort of support that would help this work-life balance and leadership engagement transition work well in terms of a continuous improvement on the processes or on the steps or even in the plans that go on. So let us discuss a bit of this again before we are caught up in that strange occurrence. Now, factors considered for work-life balance options. Factors that would be considered for work-life balance options. We are saying that there are various factors that need to be considered while planning for and offering work-life balance options to an existing employee. The factors to be considered in offering work-life balance options to the right candidate are age of candidate, length of service, past performance of candidate, duties and responsibilities, and work-life challenges. Now, let us discuss this. Let's discuss this so that at least we have something to help us even remember. Factors to consider for work-life balance options are age of the candidate. Why would it be important to consider age of candidate so we consider them for work-life balance option? Let's discuss why would it be important? Age of candidate or age of employee? Are we together?
Yes,
are we on here?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are here, Mwalimu.
Oh, you're still thinking.
Can I go
So
first?
that's Catherine. Is that Catherine?
Wangeshi.
Wangeshi,
Yes.
okay, Wangeshi, please go on.
I think the age of the candidate determines what stage in their life they are at. Some of them may have smaller children. Some of them may have children who don't need them full time. While some of them may not even have started a family yet. So their motivations and their reasons to have work-life balance might be very different, and their priorities also might be very different.
That's good. That's really nice. Their priorities might be different because of their age. They have not gone through so much. They might not even need it. So you're bringing it on to them and they're wanting, what is all this about again? So you even scare them and they feel like, hey, sometimes you tell a new employee or a young employee, you go and work from home. They could look at it differently. They might be thinking, hey, maybe it's a strategy of sending them away and not to give them a job anymore. So and then also are used to hopping and stepping, looking for maybe greener pastures. So putting so much into them might not be something that is really worth. Catherine, please tell us something. Catherine?
Yeah, I would probably contribute and say each age bracket has different things they experience in life. Some stages that are experienced in life. And so we have to put that, whatever they are negotiating around that age bracket, so that it becomes easy when you are working with this work-life balance options that you give them. Because if somebody, like now you are looking at the young people, they have a lot of time on their hands, but also they are also probably the age group right now that needs this work-life balance, so they can also work with a few other options, but they don't understand that. And probably this aspect of work-life balance allows them to do several other things that allow them to get more skilled, unlike an older person. And then the older the person, maybe some people working from home, there are issues of these diseases that come with age and managing yourself. So there's a lot of factors that one has to balance, even as you are giving these options, to see whether there is a win-win situation for both the person being given and the company at large.
Wow, very good. That's very good input. I'm sure somebody else has something, but Grace is also saying here that yes, it's important to consider age. For example, now she has looked at it differently. Now she's looking at an older age. During this corona period, 58 and above have been asked to work from home just to safeguard them from the pandemic. That is also an option that could be considered. Consider the age. That means you are looking at it differently, but you're allowing them now to continue working from home because they're even better off being at home there. Yeah. Someone else with something different? Catherine, is your hand still up? Okay, let's look at length of service then. So we are saying age has several factors to consider in terms of the employee, the experience, the type of work they are doing, their age, in terms of they're young, they don't have responsibilities here and there, and so many other things that come with that. And of course, maybe even their age in terms of when did they get into the organization. Maybe they got into the organization at maybe just 18 or 19. So they still have a lot of things. They derive satisfaction in so many strange things we might not understand. And they can also easily leave you because they have decided that's not the job they want. Beatrice, tell us something.
Hello.
Yes, Beatrice, tell us.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I think I have a contrary opinion on the age, which should not be a factor per se. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, true.
Age should not be a factor per se, because I believe good work-life balance is across the board, and it should not look at the age, whether it's young or old, because when it comes to stress does not know the age. It affects everyone across the board. So I think, to me, age should not be a factor as such. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Beatrice. But we are saying this is just an option. It might not be the exact thing that every organization is looking at. But of course, it depends on the organization you're working with and the kind of people that are already in that organization. So it would depend on whom do you want to give the work-life balance option as maybe even priority as opposed to the other. So these are just some of the things we could be looking at, not that they're cast on stone, but very good input, because again, we cannot just pin everyone down that it is age, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about
I agree with her on age.
You agree with her on age?
Yes, in this advent of diversity and inclusion, there are some factors that cannot be isolated. And I believe when an organization is deciding on work-life balance, I think age should not be a factor. Individuals need to have serious discussion, because then we can all bring to the table what works for us and for the betterment of work at the end of the day to be done. But when you bring age into the factor, then that means there are issues about diversity that we could be treading on dangerous grounds here, where you can actually be told you're discriminating somebody.
Wow, very nice. Discrimination now
based on
comes in.
age.
So who is talking? Please, if I may get your name.
I think there are other one.
Sorry?
My name is Jane Wanjohi.
Jane Wanjohi. Very good in
Yes.
terms of talking about age. Is there someone who wants to counter what Jen is saying? Maybe there's something different that I agree with Beatrice and Jane. Kate also agrees with Beatrice and Jane. But let's get someone else's opinion maybe before I finally say something.
Charity, I would like to say something.
Yes, Charity.
I would look at age in terms of how diverse in terms of age is the workforce. If the majority of the workforce are the young people, then the work-life balance options that maybe are more suitable for the young people would go for that more. But then if a workforce has varied, differences in terms of age, then our work-life balance program should be as wide as that. So I would look at it not from a discriminatory point of view, but I would look at it from how is the complexity of our workforce in terms of age composition. Then that means our work-life balance programs will be as complicated as much.
Thank you very much. At least that's okay. Okay, so let's do this, yeah? From what even Charity has just spoken, the composition of the workforce, and we are saying these are options, it's not cast on stone. There are options because you could even have two types or two sets of work-life balance strategies for your organization. So one of them would be maybe dependent on the age, one of them would be maybe dependent on something different. So there are just options to consider, but they're not cast on stone. In as much as I appreciate those who are saying that it could look like it's discriminatory and that it should cut across. It might not be something that can cut across for everyone else, again, depending on the complexity of the organization. What is the industry doing? What exactly is the organization doing? Because they might also decide that all of you must be at work, whatever the case. Then that's another issue again. So I think it all depends on the organization, the kind of entity it is, the kind of composition of the people that are there. Then, like we have said again earlier, that sometimes you look at the skills that are very key for you. Those are the ones maybe you might even give priority for a certain option and give other guys a certain option. So not all options will work for everyone. And like someone said yesterday, you might be giving someone or even telling someone to work from home, and yet they want to run away from home. So they derive more satisfaction even being at the place of work. So again, so many things must be taken into consideration to make sure that these options work well for everyone. And that is why we also looking at some steps that would be taken into consideration to support this. Then we said employees must be involved at some point. Involve these employees. If you don't involve them, because they're the ones who have even these answers of the things we are looking for. So because they have the answers, if you involve them, then they're readily able to tell you how you can go about it to support them, as opposed to when you also push it to them. Okay, that's really nice. Let's talk about length of service. Maybe that's another point to consider. Length of service. Length of service, that is the length of this employee in service, because you're talking about the employees already existing. Anyone with something to talk about in terms of length of service?
Jocelyn, may I go ahead? This
yes,
is Jane.
Please. Jen, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to take existing scenario for us. I think at this time when we've been working from home, and we've been working from home even before Corona, I think when you're a new employee, it becomes very difficult when you're told to work from home, yet you haven't met people in the office, you haven't understood one or two things that happen in this new organization. So the induction that we do, you come to the office, you see our facilities, we take you around and all that. It will be very difficult to start today and you're working from home today for the kind of business we are in. So I think for me, that's where length of service would come in. When you are now having worked for some reasonable time, and you know the incomings and ingoings of what we do and what you're expected to do, where to get what, and how to access what. I think that's the only time then you'd comfortably be able to work from home.
That's now one good idea. That it's really important that employees get even to understand the culture of the organization, up to including even meeting the team members, understanding what goes on, a few even of the policies. Not sometimes just even getting to see the structure of the organization where you are working from gives you some satisfaction of sorts. So that when they're telling you now work from home, you already have an idea, or at least you know where it is that you could go to in case you're now not working from home. So that's good input. Someone else with something else to share? Maybe I could also equate, or Catherine, say something.
Saying we are creatures of habits, and if you are indisciplined, a bit like if you ever went to those schools where there were bells every other day, and that told you today you write letters, like us, we went to Loreto, so there was a day for writing letters to parents. There's a time, in boarding school, you sort of get mechanized, into some form of work models. So when you are left alone, you go to another school where there are no bells, you actually, you lose touch with, you expect, there is an expectation in you. So we are creatures of habit, and some people just can't, they don't have discipline in forming patterns, schedules when they are alone. Some people need to work with people to form teams, that being one. The next aspect is, of course, as we work, we know people. Let's use the term, we know people. You start knowing, huyu jamani lazima kuwe supervised. Asipokuwa supervised, and they just go overboard. Yeah, that is why we are having now things inserted in handbooks, like discipline in Facebook, social media access, and stuff like that. So there are those types of people who may require to be with people slightly longer, and also the nature of work that the person is doing might, if they lack discipline, it might jeopardize some pattern within the work mode and deliverables within other teams. So the length of service, ideally, people know that you have a certain form of discipline and you've been taken through training and you can be able to take it. They sort of have a view of who you are as a person. But the shorter you are within that working model and you've not bonded with people, the more you may not know, and people may not understand how you work. So you may be judged for the wrong things.
Wow, really nice. Yeah, there's that judgmental aspect. You could be judged for the wrong thing. Then people also, now this supervision bit also is very crazy, by the way, just like I'm saying, some people must be micromanaged, others must be like supported, and others work well even when they're in teams. Catherine, you are saying something, Catherine? Or is it who was talking? Catherine, is it you who has just been talking? Catherine's hand was up.
Yeah, I talked. I'm the one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. So you find that. Yes, Jen? Yes, Jen.
This is Kate.
Kate. Oh, sorry, Kate.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to also just bring out still the aspect that I think it's Jane and Beatrice had spoken about earlier. But here, I'd just like to say that sometimes if you also look at it, depending on the culture of the organization, some may look at it as this is discriminatory because, again, they would be wondering, so because I've not worked in the organization long, I am not entitled to this, or because so-and-so has been here longer, they know better, they're not here with us because now they are more special. People can interpret it differently. And then there's also the aspect of, that teamwork and having that collaboration with your teammates. If you don't have some people, or rather, if the people who, say, for example, have been in the organization long and they have this flexi work model, then you find that the culture is not going to also be taken down to the rest of the team. So it would be just somehow it will be lost along the way. And the people who are working I mean, the people who have been in the organization longer would now feel like, you know, they are the special ones or something like that. And then the rest of the team come with their own culture. Again, now it may be negative because they would be feeling like they've been discriminated upon. So sometimes, I know that you said that these are options, but they're also good to just, it's good to consider some of these things. They also end up becoming problematic issues in the organization, as, you know, they may start like that and then they degenerate into many other smaller things that you cannot deal with. And you wouldn't know the root because now you're thinking you're dealing with something different. But projection will be there. Misplaced projection, rather.
Projection, but you're right, because you also have, the length of service depends on who is looking at it differently. Like you're saying again, or like the other speakers have said, there's that aspect of discrimination, there's that aspect of, am I less I'm being than other people, or what exactly? So again, that length of service is something to consider, but again, differently. I think discriminating would be now the worst thing anyone can do. Maybe the length of service could help us understand what would be the best work-life balance option for these employees vis-a-vis maybe a different set of employees in terms of the length of service they've been in the organization. So that's how I would look at it. Just like, again, very new employee, you might want to keep them, to understand who they are, to see what they are doing. Like, again, one of us said that sometimes you need to monitor these people, how well do they work in teams and all that before you even release them now to go and do their own work-life balance. Imagine if an employee was on probation, maybe still on probation, and you are thinking this employee just should be here because why should they work away from here? Maybe they're even doing 2 jobs at the same time. So those are things to consider. So like we're saying, they're all factors that would be considered. So anytime we're also looking at the work-life balance options, in as much as we are considering all these things, let's also consider what would work well for us and not even expose us to other things like now litigation or discrimination, or be now the guys who are being talked about with an evil mindset that we are doing the wrong things, or we're not practicing, we're not just a best practice people. So length of service, we've talked about that. Let's talk about past performance of candidates. You're talking about, okay, this existing candidate. What about their past performance as a factor to consider for giving work-life balance option? Yes, Kate? Kate, are you saying something?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
but
okay.
I could just try to.
Please try, so the rest can now pick from there.
I think for me, when I'm looking at work-life balance options, I'm also trying to just think about, you know, the organization and its culture. And one of the things that to me is just still ringing in my head is the fact that like for us, we have a very strong diversity and inclusion committee. And so that thing of, first of all, is there any form of discrimination that you say that, oh, this one is a good performer, this one is not, you know, those sort of things. So we treat them differently. That is one. Then secondly, there's the issue of what as we think about the options, what are we trying to achieve? Are we trying to then include everyone in the options that we want to come up with? Is it that we want to, I don't know which word to use, but sort of force a model? I don't know how to explain it better, but just thinking about what is the overall goal? What are we trying to achieve in trying to get these factors to consider as we come up with the work-life balance? Are we trying to look at it wholesomely, or will we pick out certain elements which may also bring up other issues? So for me, I'm still stuck. I'm still stuck at discriminatory.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you. I hear you. Thank you very much. That's a good input, but maybe we could look at it differently in terms of past performance. This is an existing employee, yeah? So this is an existing employee who has been performing like this for some time. Let us look at that case of Miranda and the Miranda guy, the Miranda lady. She's now here, she has been working so well. Then suddenly she's now getting into marriage and things happen, blah, 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 blah. So this is like a history of her all the way. So when you talk about past performance, maybe her performance at that point in time did not need this, but it has reached a point whereby now the kind of performance she's exhibiting calls for some support of sorts in terms of a work-life balance. Then from there, then it is also then looked at again, what would be the best work-life balance strategy to help this one vis-a-vis another? Just like we are saying again, the 58-year-old person, what would be the best work-life balance strategy to help them? Because I'm sure looking at all this, maybe it's important that we get to understand, and that is why we said sometimes involve these employees, don't just like push on them something. They might not even want whatever you're pushing to them. So involving them will make them know that you value them, so they can share with you what would be really best for them to use as work-life balance. So Wangeshi is saying her internet is as stable, past performance is big, but she's saying past performance is important because if they worked well in the current status quo, then it means they can do a better balance, means they can do better, balance is initiated. Work-life balance is key to employee and organizational growth. Good. So what we are saying, basically, we are saying that work-life balance is good, but we want to look at how could we even be able to apportion it, because we might not want to make everybody else work from home at the same time. So maybe there are strategies from the plans we just talked about. Maybe the first quarter of the year, who needs it, who does not need it? The second quarter, who needs the kind of job you are doing? Are you the kind of person we can allow to even work from home? Maybe the best thing would be to give you now a certain, depending on the calendar year. Are we better off giving you a certain time, which you could? Jose Maria also got disconnected. Sorry about that. So they're all options, because we might also not stick to one option, like we are saying again, and one option might not be the best for every other person. And of course, in as much as all these things are happening, it's good to involve them so that, like Kate said, we don't want to look like we are discriminating anyone at any one point. The diversity aspect is also eating us up. So if we don't look like we value or we embrace diversity in terms of the cultural differences and similarities, then it would also work negatively on us. So past performance of a candidate can help you understand, because again, their past performance would have worked well with a certain, their past performance would have worked well vis-a-vis age or vis-a-vis the length of service. Now they've gotten to a point whereby now what they need as a work-life balance strategy would be maybe something totally different. So past performance would help us also understand which is the best, as opposed to giving them the same thing. Maybe the same thing would not work anymore. So very important points to consider. Kate, you are saying something again? Okay, so if there's nothing, maybe we get to, if we looked at the duties and responsibilities, is it something that could be considered as an option for work-life balance? Let's discuss this. Let's see what people are saying. In terms of duties and responsibilities.
Hi, this is Irene.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even, okay, just as an overview, first of all, what I realize is that one, as an organization, even as a HR, it's almost impossible to please everybody. So sometimes even as I look at these factors, I'm thinking a lot of them look really, really discriminatory. And anybody, I mean, for some of us who are pretty advanced in age, you feel because I'm almost 50, so I should stay at home. I shouldn't mingle with people because of age, in length of service, how long have I been here? Am I a good performer in terms of duties and responsibilities? What can I do at home versus what I can do when I'm physically in the office, for example? And of course, the challenges of life. If I'm slightly advanced, do I have my own side hustles I'm doing and stuff like that? So I think, first of all, even on the hindsight, it's just to know that a lot of decisions that we make with regards to work-life balance will not please everybody. It will not please. So we are trying to see a situation where when we are making a decision, you're kind of working with the majority, because you always have those people who will always, I mean, so you will smile at someone in the morning and they wonder why are you smiling, you know, and then just that's how people are. So coming back to duties and responsibilities, I think that is also very critical, because, for example, if you are working at a reception, how do you work from home? You know, it becomes pretty tricky. If you are a rider, you know, you do deliveries for an organization, how do you work from home? So a lot in terms of duties and responsibilities is where now you kind of need to be very careful to know what can be done away from the office and what can be done. But of course, there's the usual element of making sure that it's not really micromanaging, but ensuring that the work gets done. So how do you ensure that, you know, the basic aims of the organization are actually achieved while you're still implementing the work-life balance options, you know, within the organization? So yeah, that's my take. Thank you.
Bringing in an aspect of, there are some jobs that would not call you to work from home. So how do we support those guys who now cannot work from home? How do we go about supporting them? So here is a chart from Wangeshi is saying some jobs you can't work from home. Some roles also you don't have to be there all the time. An ICT support person can work on your computer remotely, but a salesperson, especially in the industry, that's insurance, has to go to the client to make a sale. So duties and responsibilities are key in terms of whether they can attend to their roles in person or offsite. So what we are saying here, generally, just like previously mentioned, all these are factors that could actually be considered, but differently and with the employee involvement, because employees could actually be having a way they can do these things. And maybe even just the timings, you know, just like we are saying, there are those who can even work at night, then the whole day they're just free, or they derive satisfaction by being free. There's that who wants to work very early. There's that one who wants to come in late and work late hours and get to. So there are options that could be considered, but of course, also, even the length of service, consider who is this you're talking about? How long have they been? What is it they can do? What have they done previously, past performance? What is the age? So all these things put together, you can actually put all of them together and decide, so what would work well for this team, for this department, for this, you know, or cadre of people, for these people who have this kind of responsibility or something like that. So one strategy might not be fitting, might not be good for everyone else, but there are options that could be considered in terms of what you really want to pick and how you want to implement it. What of anyone else with something to do with the duties and responsibilities? I think I really like the aspect of the rider and the rider and the front office guy. Even a cleaner, what will they be cleaning at home when they're supposed to be doing cleaning, maybe at the place of work or at the guard? Maybe they are guarding the office equipment or the office block, and you're telling them work from home. How will they work from home? Yet they just must be present at the place of work. So there are things that could be considered differently for them. So it might not work for all of them again. Let's look at work-life challenges. Work-life challenges. Any contribution on work-life challenges? Yes, Catherine. Is it Catherine?
Yes.
Yes, Catherine.
I don't know whether I'll be left or right when I'm answering this, but
just say it. It will evoke our minds differently.
Yeah, I'm imagining this is a job I've gotten. I am in a very challenging environment that probably may not allow me to be able to work from home and deliver amicably. And so I have challenges, maybe because of the area where I live. That's one. Two, we could be, you know, one of these families that we are 9 or 10 in the house, and everybody seems to have their own constitution and how they work. So that is challenging. If my work requires a lot of concentration, I'd be better off in an office setting. And then my kind of nature, I probably need to be around people in order to be able to get answers and feedback without necessarily being machine controlled. You see, like now we're talking and stuff, and I need to feel people. There are some jobs that you have to see the nonverbals, you know, for you to be able to, and one thing that online has completely lost is those nonverbals. And so people can actually be reading from a script, and maybe your job requires that you have a physical feel. So probably those would be my contributions. I don't know whether I'm making sense, but
yeah, you're making sense. You're making sense, unless people are not picking it up. But you are making much sense, because it's really important. Yeah, like you're saying again, that there are those people who just, the nonverbal cues are also good just to see and get to understand. Or like you are born many, and then now you feel like this is where you need to be and not the other. You know, there could be those challenges that come your way, even in terms of, look at even what has happened to us. In fact, in terms of, I want to work from home, yes, but then power goes off, and maybe this is my home, rural home, and I you know, that's where I just have to be. So with these strange occurrences, maybe to make my whatever very difficult. So then I'd be forced to either maybe relocate to another place or get to be at work when I wouldn't have loved to be at work, because I think I would work well maybe while at home. So something to consider. Someone else with something else to share? One last one before we progress, so we move fast. Okay, so there's a chat here. So I love that. Yes, we have lost the nonverbals. Very nice. Thanks, Irene. So the nonverbal cues are no longer there, that we are just operating in, yeah. Even for me now, when I don't see you sometimes, I'm like, okay, so am I sure I'm talking to people? Do I even know how they're reacting to what even I'm saying? Because when I was used to seeing you guys at the Comfort Hotel, it was really interesting, because you are seeing someone, you can see their nonverbal cues, you can see everybody else wants to react to it, and you can know what anyone who is eager to even talk. You can even pick on someone and tell them do A, B, C, D. You can involve them involve them and make them kind of integrate into what you are doing. But of course, we have to operate like that. Beatrice, you have something to share?
Okay, I just wanted to say, when coming up with the options to individuals or candidates, I think there should be something like a policy for work-life balance, which can guide one and have strategies in relation to the options and who qualifies, so as to avoid unnecessary grievances in the organization. That is my take.
Very good. In fact, that is now what we are coming to. We are coming to, let's look at now the options for work-life balance. What are some of the options that are there? Apart from now looking at this, what would be some of the options for work-life balance in terms of what employers would be giving their employees? Thank you, Beatrice. So I think we just get there to look at the options, because this we have already discussed. These ones we have discussed. So we get to work-life balance options. Work-life balance options. So we are saying that there are a number of work-life balance issues that emerged recently while designing jobs in organizations. There are alternative work patterns that are equally effective in handling organizations' functions and can become options for work-life balance. Look at these options. What can we say about these options? What can we say about telecommuting from or work from home? What can we say about this? Maybe someone, let's comment on each one of these, so at least we get to move again. What can we contribute in terms of telecommuting or working from home, in terms of an option for work from home? Beatrice, yes, Beatrice? Beatrice, are you talking? Beatrice, can you people hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
I thought maybe something I thought something had gone wrong again. But I can see Beatrice's hand is up, though she's not saying anything. So anyone else who wants to share?
Maybe she can unmute herself.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fine. So who wants to talk about telecommuting? Okay, do we practice this? Any one of us who practices this, tell us how it works. Maybe that would be better. Telecommuting or working from home. Hmm? No one does that. Okay.
I'm not, maybe I, for lack of understanding, are you asking the people who work from home to say how they do it?
Yes, because I'm asking anyone to comment on this and they are not able to comment. So anyone who works from home, tell us how it works. Maybe that would help us now then understand that that option is either good or bad or something to consider.
Yes, I have been working from home since Corona hit last year.
Wow, 1 year down the line.
Hello?
Please, go ahead.
Sorry. So I've been working from home since last year, March. Immediately after Corona hit, we were enabled to work from home through VPN. So most of our work, most of my work is administrative. So it was easier to work from home than at the office. At first, it was difficult. Maybe if you don't have access to certain systems which you have to use every day. But with time, we appreciated it. On one side, it's good because you're saving up on the time that you're always on the road to and from work. You're also saving money in terms of transport and food that you had to buy when you had work. But on the other hand, I also got unwell around that time, I think April or May last year. And when I went to hospital, it was nothing was wrong with me. So I was told probably it is the stress of having to balance working and the children and everything that is around me. So now I had to make it a habit to actually leave the house because I was not leaving the house at all. When Corona hit, there are all these theories. So I was not leaving home at all. And it was affecting me negatively. So every day, lunch hour or early in the morning, I have to take a walk or jog and then come back and now continue with work. It helped with that sort of balance. Then also balancing with the children because now they were home also. So I had to be the teacher as well. That was also a bit challenging. But a year later, I think I am better at working at home than at work.
Wow.
I've developed a routine around working from home. So I was able to now take up other things like jogging and other things like my schoolwork was also pending. So now I'm able to organize myself better than if I was going to work.
Nice. So we can see some of the benefits that come with that, some of the disadvantages, but of course, there's a way in which Wangeshi managed to work it out. So now she's coping very well. What of job sharing? Anyone who has an experience in terms of job sharing? Beatrice, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something on working from home.
Yes, please share.
I think working from home in this midst of COVID-19, I think there is some aspect of work-life balance because one is able to manage and prioritize his work and also, on the other hand, manage his personal life. And this will only depend on the putting your priorities right and also managing time. So to me, working from home in this midst of COVID-19, there is some kind of work-life balance. Thank you.
Good. So you are taking us back to what we talked about in terms of the components of work-life balance, self-manage yourself, do some time management of sorts, work on your stress management, even up to the change management, because now you are at home and not at work. And then including maybe even technologies. Maybe some of us are not so used to Zoom all the time. So you have to start struggling and getting people to help you understand what Zoom is, how to get into the Zoom meeting and all that. And then of course, also managing your leisure time, because some people would even take more time now doing leisure than just work. Who has done job sharing, or who has some information about job sharing as a work-life balance option? Job sharing. Okay, maybe I could say, Beatrice, you want to say something? I can see like your hand is up. Okay, it's down. Okay. So job sharing is basically what we know. Sometimes you have too much on your desk and you need to share it out with people who may understand what you are doing. So you are just sharing out this job so that at least it isn't out of your hands, because you find that we all work at different paces, yeah. And there are those that are too fast. Maybe they're even fast at grasping concepts. So by the time you are sharing with them, they make it really easy for you. Lydia is saying that I've also been working from home since last year, March. It's worked very well for me, and some few challenges include inconveniences that come with power outages, yes, and the fatigue of quite a number on online meetings on some days. Yeah, online can also be very, can cause a lot of fatigue. Imagine if it was a class from 7 or from 8 up to 5, you are just on the system. It can even bring you some little issues in terms of your eyesight and your eye, whatever, and even headache. Sometimes people get headache because of the reflection of these gadgets all the time. So thank you. But of course, job sharing, like I've said, is just basically sharing of this job. But again, it all depends. There are people who can take advantage of others because of wanting to share jobs. They might not be as busy per se, but they want to do other things as opposed to doing their job. So you find that there's that aspect of taking advantage. So again, if not done well, can make other people disadvantaged, because every time you find that people are sharing jobs instead of doing their own job. And this could also come about when we have bosses who do a lot of even delegation other than even trying to work out on what they can work. They delegate everything else, so they just remain to read a newspaper or to take care of their own businesses. So that would also, it's an option, yes, but it depends on how well you do it, having tracked exactly maybe people's jobs and what the weight of those jobs are, and of course, giving them even a little time to free themselves off just the machine. Flexi working hours, I think, are most of what we have talked about, and basically like working from home. But I know there are other ways people have done their flexi thing. Catherine, tell us something you know or you want to share. Catherine?
Working hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Catherine, go ahead.
Largely depends on, like, if you are working in organizations.
I think we are losing you.
Can you hear me now?
We are losing you along the way. It's on and off, on and off.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'm saying working only can be considered when job is with a company that has 10 hours. Like if you are working for an organization that has its headquarters in the US, so your day is their night and their night is your day. So you find you have to also like flex, you have to also work with that kind of pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's probably when you are supervising, so during the day you are sleeping, and at night is when you get up to work. And there's also the aspect of flexi working hours where you take the hard jobs into a time when you are alone. Can be more useful from the time that there's a lot of noise around, especially for people who are telecommuting from home. They would push hard tasks. You'd be like on the internet doing something, and here is this 3-year-old who feels so to help you with the work, and they're all over the place with their milk and stuff. So you really have to adjust to flexi work so that when they are asleep is when work, when things like that. So that would be the contribution on flexi working hours.
Very good contribution. Thank you, Catherine. At least you brought in another insight in terms of the kind of work you are doing. You are better off working maybe later. I was putting it more, and the time also you allocate your portion to the kind of work you want to do. So that could actually be looked at as flexi. And some people even want to sleep during the daytime so that they work late in the evening or work very early in the morning. So let's look at the charts here. Jen Ojo, he's saying, I've been working from home pre-COVID due to the nature of my role. Yeah, at least she benefited even pre-COVID. We, however, have a hybrid arrangement where one can work some days in the office. So it depends on the role one does, as some jobs are front-facing, yeah, and cannot work from home. Yeah, at least most people are now in this arena. There are those who can work from home, there are those who cannot work from home, depending on the kind of job that is actually at hand. And there are those that have maybe the greater percentage is working on the ground. So maybe they might not want the smaller percentage not to work from home. So they want everybody else on the ground. It all depends again on the policies that have been put up, that have been developed by the organization to support employees in that area. Kate is saying we have flexi work system due to the different time zones we operate. Wow, nice. Again, here, different time zones because they're operating with certain regions. So you find that they have those different time zones. So they also have that flexi kind of system, which I think we had not looked at. Very good contribution. What of alternative work pattern? This one I think is also cutting a course in terms of work from home and flexi work hours, even this. Let's look at the split shifts. Who has done split shifts? I've seen it in the nursing or whatever profession. Split shifts, anyone who has interacted with split shifts? Catherine, you want to contribute? Catherine, are you there? I can see your hand is up. So anyone who has interacted with split shifts, maybe tell us what it's all about.
Maybe for manufacturers.
Yeah, for manufacturers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, manufacturers would have split shifts because say you are selling a product that is all of a sudden trending, and there are more orders. In order to remove yourself from having too many back orders, you now have split shifts where people work certain times, and then you can even hire some special people just to make sure that you are within your targets and you're also not hurting your client based with back orders. So this works a lot with the sales department in liaison with operations. Where operations within the manufacturing concerns are concerned. There's a lot of split shifts. And even for security, because it's a 24/7 job issue. So 24/7, if you are needed to always have somebody there, then you will talk of split shifts because there is also the law that governs working hours for employees, like a total of 52 hours. So if people go beyond that, then it becomes expensive for the organization. So you'd have split shifts in order to adhere to the law for compliance and also for the fact that people are people. They are not machines. So their level of usefulness would vary with the time. You can imagine if you work in a supermarket and you're staring at this machine like enough hours, and the thief steals, you don't see, you've already gone into your own world because you can't, the concentration span moves in different time spans. So split shifts takes care of those kind of factors.
Wow, that's very interesting. By the way, just like I've said, in the nursing industry also, you find that the doctors also have their split shifts. There are days they work the 8 hours, there are days they work just 4 hours in a day because they are actually like operating on a kind of split shift at that point in time, just to ensure that everybody is sober, everybody is vibrant. To say something, Akra, someone, I can't speak the full name. Tell us something.
It's Akram Mohammed.
Akram Mohammed, oh, good, thanks. Okay.
On the 3 shifts, normally what would happen would be you would have a 24-hour working environment. And if you need to have people working, of course, people cannot work for more than 8 hours. So you have 3 shifts of 8 hours each. But then people need to go for a break. To have lunch for the first shift, have dinner for the second shift. The third shift, normally there are no meals, but if you need, then you can still give them a half an hour break or something. Now that half an hour is not counted in the working hours. So you end up with having people, let's say, working for 8 hours in the morning, from morning until afternoon, and they have half an hour break. So they have worked for 7.5 hours. And when you take it to 7.5 hours for a week, it comes to a total of 45 hours, which is what the unions normally ask for. Although the law is 48 hours, but the union, the CBAs normally would come for a 45-hour week. So when you do that, then you don't have to pay the overtimes. But on the last shift, the night shift, if you do not need to give them the half an hour break, then they can just carry on. And that particular shift will now be entitled to a 3-hour overtime at the end of the week. But we have 3 shifts working all the time. And what you would normally find is you have to take into consideration the fact that when a person comes in, he works, you expect about 100% or 95% efficiency for the first 6 hours or so. And then for the next, about 5 hours actually, then the 6th and the 7th hour, you expect about 40% efficiency. And the last hour, of course, they're all looking at the clocks and they want to go home. So you probably expect something like 40% efficiency.
Yeah, that's continue.
And that's how it normally works, and that's how you try to program it with those kind of expectations.
Good, that's very good input. Thank you, Akram Mohammed. I've also been exposed to a 3-shift work hour, that's 888. But there's this split which normally comes in terms of someone just working a few hours, I think holding for these 3 guys of the 3-shift or something. Catherine, you have something to say again?
Yeah, I was saying it would be interesting for, there's this issue of cases that come up when you revise crime, for HRs. A lot of crimes are involved with the split shifts, where you find there's a lot of corruption around it. And I think there was a celebrated case in Kenya where there was a shift that was done the night, when nobody is expected to be awake. And they manufactured a product range, a whole squad that used to be sold in the market. So the only way was like the electricity bill was very high. But somehow this split shift used to just come in when people are asleep and leave before. So it is it's an interesting area, by the way, for making a policy, because it also requires a bit of supervision. And also I do HR audits, and you would find that for the pharmaceutical industry, they would be selected people who would be around a certain zone. And we had a case where someone just liked being around the mental health medication. And so, those medications make you feel high, like drugs. And so he would remove all the gear and really be high. And then one time he just lost everything and just decided that it is midnight when it was midday, and that people should be going home because it's Sunday. Why are they working? So this area has not been checked so well. It is assumed, it is passed by HR, but it has a lot of crime and medical sensitivities around it. That's just what I forgot to share.
That's really nice. Very interesting, by the way. And like you say, it's very important that we have policies that govern this. But where I saw it, I think we had a policy, so they'll still hand over and take over for that split shift. And I think that it worked so well, but I couldn't quite understand the exact shift. But they used to have that split just for about 2 or 3 hours, then someone goes away. But there was a handover and takeover. And yeah, so long as there's close monitoring and such that not the same person is doing the split shift all the time, then it could be something that could work. But very good input. Tax revisions are basically just like re-engineering a task, or maybe just revising it. Sometimes you find that there's so much you do, like I said, there's so much you do, but it's not even on your job description. So maybe what you are doing now should be gotten back to the job description, maybe redefined, so you get to working. I think let's move on, so in the interest of time, so we don't get left out. So these ones, we've just talked about them, the balances. So the option to work from home that an employee has for work-life balance is also known as what? The option to work from home that an employee has for work-life balance is also known as what? Let's see what this is. The option to work from home that an employee has for work-life balance is also known as telecommuting. Okay, so at least now we know. For those of us who did not know, now we know. So maybe we can look at a few case studies here quickly, then we go on. Can I have at least two people reading, two people to take two cases each quickly, so we just get to understand how this one's worked out. Who is volunteering? Volunteer? No volunteer? Okay.
Can I volunteer?
Please volunteer. Hello? I can't get your name. Please do.
Okay. Real life example. Hi, I'm Kate. I work as a senior copywriter for Starstruck Incorporation, a reputed advertising agency in the country. I have been working at Starstruck for about 6 years now. Recently, Kate's father had a serious stroke or paralysis. Kate's father is now bedridden and will need to be taken care of, as he will not be able to move the complete left side of his body.
Go on.
I continue. Kate has hired a full-time nurse who will be taking care of her father. However, Kate feels that she should be at home for her father to take care of him in this hour of need. She hopes that her company allows her to work from home full-time and that she only needs to come to office to attend to client meetings. I continue.
Yes.
Kate knows that all client meetings happen on a Monday, so she can go to the office on Mondays. Also, the rest of the week, she can work from home and complete all her work. She's a copywriter and can easily collaborate with others in her team through options such as a phone, chat, and email to get her work done.
Continue. Now we can see that. So sorry, just stop there first. So we are saying that Kate already knows, even has a solution to how she can make her work life kind of balance well within her and her ailing father and the kind of work she's doing. She's even giving options of how she can go to work on Mondays to continue like working on Monday. So Paula, is it you who was reading? Or can Paula now read then? Paula, okay, Paula, continue. If there's no other volunteer, if there's a volunteer, let us know.
May I read?
Yes, please read. Margaret, okay. Margaret, read.
Hi there. My name is Miranda Rose. I work as a course developer at EduTech Inc. I have been married for 5 years and I have a daughter called Myra. Myra has just started school and attends preschool till about 2 p.m. Till now, I used to keep Myra in a crèche when I was working.
Continue.
However, now that Myra has started school, she has to spend more than half her day out of home. I really hope I can be there for her when she gets back from preschool. I will have to check with my organization if they have any option of allowing me to work part of my work hours from home after 2 p.m. This partial telecommuting option will give me the flexibility and help me greatly to pick Myra up from her preschool and be with her for the rest of the day. At the same time, I can again continue working from evening till night.
Wow. So these are employees who even have options for what they can do or how they can do. And if given a chance through that dialogue, we'll find that they're just working well. Can someone read for us the Liam one? Gender, where are the gentlemen here, please? Where are the gentlemen? Tell us something. Let's hear you read. Okay, there's no one. Okay, the ladies, please take charge.
Can I read?
Yes, please read. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Joyce.
Joyce.
Hi.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
Joyce.
Hi, I'm Liam. I work as a team lead in Software Incorporation, a leading software development company. I hope to be promoted to the position of a project manager this year. However, when I spoke to Jared, one of my close friends and well-wishers in the higher management, he suggested that I complete a project management professional, that is PMP certification.
Go on. Go on.
Jared thinks that the PMP certification will definitely add great credibility to my current experience and to help me get promoted to the position of a project manager. PMP is typically a 4-day classroom training of 9 hours per day, which is a total of 36 hours of learning. However, I know that I will not be able to get a leave for completing the certification, as there is a lot of
what? I can't also see it. Maybe there's a lot of work. I don't know. So just go on with this. So
as I searched a lot, and finally I have found a training company that offers the 36-hour PMP training in an 8-day and 4 hours per day training schedule. I really hope that my organization allows me to work in a split shift so that I work in the morning hours, then attend the PMP training for 4 hours and come back to the organization and complete the rest of my working hours.
Wow, that's now Liam saying they have a solution to what they have, to the problem which is at hand. Okay, let's have someone else read the Walter bit.
Hi, I can read.
Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Bella.
Okay, Bella.
Hello, I'm Walter Padalek.
Yes.
I work as a senior technical support executive in Teleport Incorporation for the past 5 years. I handle the technical support calls of one of our esteemed client companies that sells laptops. It is normally in my line of duty that I need to work in rotating shifts. So for many months, I end up working in night shifts.
Go on. Go on, Bella.
The next part is not yet displayed. Okay. However, lately I really don't know why, but I'm not able to complete my sleep after getting back from my night shift. Earlier, I used to sleep for almost 5 to 6 hours in the morning. Now, I hardly catch a wink for more than an hour. It is really taking a toll on my health. The doctor diagnosed that my body clock has got messed up due to working the long months in night.
Continue.
So he suggested that I should get myself off the night shift for at least a year in order to get my body clock normal. I really hope that Teleport removes me from night shifts removes me from night shifts as I have been a valuable asset to them for the past 5 years. If not, I really don't think I will have an option but to leave the company. I can't put my health at risk for my work.
So these are some of the things even our employees talk about. Sometimes they need you to be there to support them. And that is why sometimes they have to talk to you. If they don't talk to you, they decide to quit, and then you'll be wondering what happened. So who is going to be Kim here? Someone to read for us the Kim bit. Who is reading? Kim?
I can read. Miss Lydia.
Yes, please. Yes, Lydia. Please go ahead.
Hi there. Okay, hi there. My name is Kim. I work as a web designer at WebWorld Inc. for the past 4 years. I have been married for 7 years and I have a 2-year-old son, Ian. Every morning before I go to my office to work, I drop my son off at my parents' place. I find this option has helped me focus greatly on my work as I can work without worrying about my son.
Go ahead.
The next. However, last week, my mom told me that this year onwards, my parents have decided to spend 2 weeks of their Christmas holidays at native home in China. This news really got my head reeling, because then I would need to think about how to take care of my son when I'm at work. I could take a leave, but I know that is not an option that I can suggest to my boss. Christmas time is the busiest seasons of the year. Most clients are in a hurry to get their web design projects completed before the new year. So I know that a 2-week leave is not possible. However, I am thinking of speaking to my boss and finding out if they can allow me to work from home every year for 2 weeks during Christmas time.
Go ahead.
I don't see why I cannot work from home every year for 2 weeks, considering that all my work gets done on my laptop. I've put in extra hours for my work, and many times hours from my work, many times from home, and I have all the resources I need to get the work done from home. I really hope that they allow me to work from home, the work from home option for 2 weeks, or else I really don't know how. Sorry, I'm just losing the. You can scroll up a bit.
Sorry.
It's okay. I really hope they allow me to work from home, the work from home option for 2 weeks, or else I really don't know how I would what I would do.
What I would do, yeah. So you see, these people already have options and all those things happening. Now this is work-life balance for women. Anyway, women, we know how to multitask. So there are a few things we can hold on to. There are those that we can see how to manage. Now, strategies to improve work-life balance. Strategies that improve work-life balance are one, involve your team members. I don't know whether we involve our team members in work-life balance, because it's really important that we involve them, like we just seen from those real-life experiences from these guys we've just talked about. So you find it's really important, because when you involve others, there's an aspect of value, there's an aspect of assigning even those shifts, there's an aspect of giving people audience, and involving them will make them also tell you what would be the best way forward for them to achieve even more, other than just keeping to yourself. I think we are clear there. Encourage sharing. Why would we encourage sharing? We encourage sharing because dialogue is normally healthy. Oh, someone was saying something. Someone's hand is up. I don't know who it is.
Sorry, it's me.
Was someone?
Wangeshi.
Wangeshi. I can't see your full name. Fine. Wangeshi,
Yeah,
tell us something.
Yeah, I think sharing allows people to actually just let you know what's happening in their lives. Yeah, so I'll just give a real life example. So I was actually supposed to, we've been working from home on particular days of the week during COVID, and I was supposed to go to the office today to work on something. And last evening, my son just fell ill, you know. So I'm here planning, I'm going to the office today, and my supervisor knew, you know, we had planned the whole day out. And so I just had to, you know, just send him a text and tell him I can't come to the office tomorrow because my son just fell ill. And in as much as I've taken him to hospital, even if I went to the office, I don't think I would be comfortable because, you know, he had a fever and all those things. And so the fact that I could actually just tell my boss, this is what's happening, and he was okay with it. So yeah, so I'm actually still working and having this training going on, you know, and still taking care of my son. Yeah.
Imagine. Sorry, that's a very good experience. Sorry about your illness of your son, but at least that's very good, like experience. That's something we need to understand. I'm not able to view the screen. Is there a problem? Are you people able to view the screen, maybe?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes,
we can.
Yeah, we can see.
View this. You can see.
Yes,
yes. Someone else cannot view. I don't know what is the problem. Maybe on their side, someone else cannot view from their side. Or Kate is having delays. I don't know. Jose Maria can see. So we go on. Okay, it's all about discussing. Let's look at all these topics and see who can say something about which area they think they're comfortable with. So we have had about involving team members. What about encourage sharing? encourage group work? So could people just pick quickly randomly so that at least we're able to, they don't have to flow in order, but let's just discuss what we have gone through or what we see happening in our organizations to help like improve work-life balance. Pick any area, anyone?
If I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
Maybe I can just say something short on encouraging group work. This is not just something I've seen in my current, I'm not saying it's particular to any field, but it's something good to encourage group work because apart from fostering teamwork, you break down these silos of information, whereby you can pull people from different units within the departments, and maybe they can work on a group together, on a task together, not a group, sorry. So to just encourage that knowledge sharing, such that this aspect of, one person is not in the office, so I don't know, I cannot even lead you on something. You can eliminate that, what I talked about earlier, the silos of information, thereby, even encouraging even job rotation, that it encourages if people have that sense of they know at least about what they're about to do. And that's just one of the benefits of encouraging group work. It's something that has so many benefits. Apart from the few I've mentioned, there are so many, but I don't want to touch on everything. Thank you.
Good. That's really nice. That's very nice. Yeah, encouraging group work is really good. It also gives you some comfort, and it allows a lot of freedom because then people are able to operate in their own and build trust, isn't it? That's really nice. Let someone else pick any of the remaining ones and say something quickly. Waiting. You have not been exposed to this. Even if you have not been exposed, I think some of it is just something you could try to practice. Anyone?
May I say something?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. This is Margaret once again.
Yes, Margaret.
I would like to just talk about maybe encourage group work and promote informal gathering and sharing. This is in regards to, okay, I'll talk about once in a while I'm involved. I'm normally lead a team of young people who we serve together in church. And so I'm a head of department. And since COVID, even when the church or other places of worship were closed, as a HOD, I had to look for ways to keep tap of each other. And so that I am able to know how all these are doing amid the COVID pandemic. And so what I did, I came up with care group names. And because we could not meet all together because it will become a crowd and against MOH protocols, I put these people into groups of 5. And in all the groups, I came up with team leaders where each team leader will be able to at least ensure they know about the others, and they should plan on how they can, whether they meet online, whether they meet together. And I would like to be taking like a report every end of the month. And these groups are basically for you to be able to know how the other person is knowing. Like, for example, if I say so and so, have you talked to the other person? And they should be able to tell me, yes, I spoke to them, or we were together, we met this particular day, and this is what we did. So that is basically to take care of their spiritual growth, and also to be their brother's keeper. And at least even with that, then we are able to have a kitty whereby we can be able to assist each other whenever need arises. And in that, I realized then from the reports I've been receiving, I am able to know like everyone in the group, or the people I take a charge of, or rather I head a lead, are all okay. And whenever someone is going through something, I will be able to know, and then I can be able to even do something. If, for example, they are going through something major, then we can be able to know what to do for that person. And that has really, really worked. We call them care groups. and it's still doing very well. And I realized I'm able to empower other people in my group, meaning even when I'm not there in charge, then I still have able people to be able to serve that particular day without any issue happening.
Thank you very much, Maggie. That is really insightful, because I'm sure some of us can now get something out of what we are sharing, because like this care group thing, it's not for everyone, but I'm sure it's something you can start and move with it and make your work-life balance even at the workplace really nice. So we are sharing because we have to learn from each other, and we have to make life very interesting, whether we're at home or at work. So Kate is saying that organized parties. Pre-COVID, we used to have birthday celebrations for staff and random food baskets when we would have time off the desks, time away from desks. Yeah, this helped with taking a break and debriefing. We also had happy hours, which helped with team bonding. Happy hours, not necessarily alcohol. True. Seems I have a problem with audio, so I'm speaking, but it seems my audio is off. Very unfortunate. Sorry about that, Kate, but at least we got your point. These happy hours, I don't know that everybody else practices that. I don't know whether people get even their employees off their desk so they can celebrate even a birthday or something. Like for us, we have monthly meetings, and in those monthly meetings, we share a cake. We have been doing that pre-COVID, but now after COVID, we've decided now even our birthdays, we do it differently. We just buy a card. We all sign on it, then we just surprise you. We send 2 or 3 people to surprise you and take photos and put on our WhatsApp group. So it still works well, because it's normally just a surprise. We know it's your birthday. Yes, even you know it's your birthday. But whoever arrives with the card and the cake, sometimes you never even know. Maybe you're even just in a meeting and 3 people just come and sing for you and take photos, and that is it. Beatrice, you had something to share, Beatrice?
Yeah, okay. For me, what I can say, I would encourage effective communication as a good strategy, because you have to inform the employees the concept of work-life balance, the need for the work-life balance, and the importance of the work-life balance on the organization and personal life, and also encourage feedback to know the efficiency and effectiveness of the work-life balance in the organization and to the individuals. Thank you.
Wow, very nice. And that again, if I may support you, it also avoids misunderstanding, because even if it is that communication, sometimes good communication is when even it is written, it is reliable when it is written, and it even has maybe an agenda. So the intended audience also must be spelled out. So if communication is supposed to be for HODs, it is for them. If it is for all employees, they know it is theirs. It also eliminates those like, what can we say, the grapevines, because sometimes you hear people saying, and they're like, we were not told, nobody told us, yet yet the information was meant for you. So again, it's really important that that works out like that. Encourage effective communication. Okay. The remaining ones, transparency, parties we have talked about, at least transparency, work-life balance trainings, options, we've looked at them. Anyone wants to talk about transparency? I think transparency comes hand in hand with this promoting of encouraging communication, because transparency would come out very clear when some communication is written. It's straightforward, so it's reliable and has that agenda, just like I've said. I think they work closely. And then the trainings are also important to conduct trainings. You can even have free discussions. You can have people sharing experiences, make them not very formal. So people are allowed to even carry their cups of their cups of tea or their cups of, nowadays we have a lot of these containers. We have the tins, the bottles, the what, encourage them even to come with their bottles. So you can see, sometimes even just from that, you can see people reacting differently or feeling like, yeah, and people greet each other and try to make fun and even give you a compliment, which sometimes you don't even get back at home. So very important that works out. And then conducting trainings, very important. It allows people to also understand exactly what your strategy really is and what you want to achieve. Okay, so I think we have talked about these strategies to improve. Same things we've just discussed. Strategies to improve work-life balance. So we go to the next one. I don't know if people still organize parties. I don't know if people still organize parties, or nowadays, how do you do it? The people who are working from home, how do you do your parties? Is there where you organize your parties? Or you don't do them anyway?
They're done virtually. You just have we've had like instances where you have employees having special occasions, or some are also leaving during this time. So we just have a virtual meeting where we just have just share the things that we had with the employee or whatever it is, and it's actually a lot of fun when guys are sharing their experiences. Okay. Then everybody brings their drink or whatever.
Yeah, which is still okay, by the way. It still works, isn't it? It works for people. Let's see the charts. So Kate is saying organized parties for COVID. Oh, no, this one we've already seen. We have virtual happy hours. Virtual, Kate, I wish Kate would share this, the virtual happy hours. How would they look like? What exactly happens? Global staff parties, yeah. Someone tell us about virtual happy hours. Kate has something interesting here, but now her mic, I think, has an issue. Anyone telling us about virtual happy hours? How is it done or what happens? They are themed. Wow. She's saying here that they are themed. It's really unfortunate that we can't get to hear what she would have shared, but it looks like a very interesting thing. That these virtual happy hours are themed. Maybe we are telling each one of us that let's dress like this, let's decorate our room or our workspace to look like this, whether it's at home or what. So you find everybody else has that color theme of sorts too. And then she's saying here that then we talk about various things not related to work. Various things not related to work. What are you doing at home when you have free time, maybe? So talking about you are baking, maybe you're even showing them what you bake. Someone else is an artist, they show what they do in terms of what they draw. Someone else would be saying how they've been doing sign language. By the way, when COVID struck, at some point I was learning sign language. Okay, we did not have a work from home policy, but we had that flexi. So once in a while when I'm at home, I would actually practice sign language because I have a relative who is able differently. So they communicate with sign language and we have not been very keen with that. That's my sister's child. So now I thought to myself, it's important that I go an extra mile in learning sign language. So again, that could be something. Someone else is saying that we maintain celebration, especially on home front, since it's the new space, the new office space. We send cakes for birthdays, wedding anniversary. Wow, nice. You send them now to, Paula, you send these cakes all the way to someone's home, or what happens? Or you book it nearer where the person is. Then Kate again is saying we have times when we do galleries for the period we have worked from home. We do talent shows. Very nice. But then you pick these ideas, guys. I think I'm also picking something from this. Do galleries, do those cakes away from home. So something to look at, something to share. Someone else wants to crown it maybe with something else. Paula, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say we send to the home from home because that's the new office space.
Wow.
So we have it delivered to your home and you celebrate. Then we have a Zoom meeting here.
Wow, Lydia is here saying thank you. It's really awesome. It's awesome. What you people do is really meaningful and really makes your employees really engaged and feel like they're part of that your organization. Really nice. So what would be the role of HR in work-life balance management? What would be the role of HR? Let's look at what would be the role of HR. Apart from what is written here, while making the organization's policies, the Human Resource Department must fix common time for lunch for all employees. That is now one role from what is coming out here. But again, in as much as that is being fixed, I think there's also room for flexi, or there could be a flexi kind of arena to help those that must not go for lunch at the same time, though it is meant maybe to do those networks, to bond, to just get to off the, like for us, okay, we are given lunch by my employer, and to find that during lunch hour, we are encouraged not to use our phone. So we go for lunch, we set like some 20 minutes, we are not on phone, nothing, we just leave your phone at the office. So we go for lunch, we set ourselves, so we take our lunch and just have conversations within ourselves. After that, now we get back to the office or away now in some space where we can now do that. And if you carry your phone, you must make sure that your phone is not ringing, it's on silent and it's in your pocket, and get discipline not even to pick it. So nobody should actually be seen with their phone for at least 20 minutes. It could be something that can work for other people, because it's also important that you just get off those gadgets once in a while, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's really, like, unfortunately, some employers or some employees work within where they even have their lunch, like for me. So from here, I'm walking like half a minute, or I take like 15 steps. I'm in a place where I'm supposed to even be eating from. So you see, if I eat, sometimes I'm tempted to just come back to work and start working on maybe reading mail, maybe just aligning myself with something different. So it would just be good to unplug and get off just the usual thing. Then employees share their sorrows, displeasures, and various problems with their colleagues, and this way they come closer to each other. People develop better bonding this way. Problems crop up when work tends to become monotonous. Employees should enjoy coming to office rather than treating work as a burden. Okay, another role of HR would say HR is charged with organizing trainings and seminars and these strategies we've just talked about. If you don't make it very interesting, you'll find that people are just getting bored, they're getting even sick because of how the implementation in terms of what you're even implementing, maybe it does not resonate to all of them, does not work well. But I like the idea of someone just reaching out to you until a cake is brought at your doorstep and you're like, goodness, what is all this? Then you celebrate, then you have themed way of doing things. It's really nice. It's really involving, everybody else is involved. And sometimes involving these employees in terms of what you want them to tell them we have a party. Let them organize a team. Let them decide what they want. Maybe there's just a small budget to it. Let them decide that this would be best, this would be the best, this would be that. Let them even do a little decoration. You can maybe even discover some artwork in some of the things these people do, and that could be a plus on inside. So another HR thing to do is also, like I've said, you enforce digital downtime. People just unplug from digital. They don't even read mail. A few minutes, they're just off that and they're just catching up with each other, telling each other how smart you are. All this time you went to shave your hair, now you have done this, very informal way. And then, of course, encourage your employees to also take vacation. How many of us encourage our employees to take vacation as HR professionals? Maybe we just keep quiet and say they have not asked for it. But is there a way you can even sense that there's a problem here, that people are now getting bogged down with work, that now people need some rest of sorts? So sometimes people need to be talked to be told that leave is just something you earn. Leave is something that is, it's not punishment. Just take leave, go and get a rest, and then get back to work. But you find that some people get scared. They don't want to go and leave. Like where I worked at some point, people never used to go and leave. People are just scared because they're thinking, hey, if I go and leave, I'll find someone has taken over my job. And I would wonder which job again. I thought everybody has their job here, everybody has their. So how can someone take over your job? I think there's a lot of witch hunt in the local setup. So there are things that can make employees not go and leave, but so long as it is clearly spelled out, then they're able to go and leave. So what would be the role of even managers then, leave alone now HR? Let's discuss one or two things about what managers can do. What can managers do? Now, not HR, but managers. What can managers do to encourage this? To encourage work-life balance. Dialogue, like we say, dialogue, isn't it? It's really important that managers get to dialogue all the time with their employees, because when you don't dialogue with the employees, then you'll find that they're actually straining and they're not telling you. They just strain, and one time you'll discover that someone is getting admitted for even a longer time than you expected, just because they suffered and you did not do, or you did not understand, because you denied them a chance to dialogue with you. So be open-minded in terms of supporting the employees. Involve them in some of the strategies that you would be undertaking in your department, so they're able to be free with you, because also when they are free, they're able to work with you so well. Yeah. What else? What else have we left out? So if we are good, we just go to the challenges of work-life balance management. Challenges. Let's do challenges, and then we crown our day today. Let's do the challenges. We've done the strategies to improve managers' role. We've just looked at what the HR role is and the manager's role. So we have the challenges of work-life balance, and then tips for work-life balance to cover. Then we call it a day. So challenges of work-life balance. This is something that is that maybe we have to look at in terms of just understanding. Challenges of this planning. We have challenges that come our way when we are even planning the work-life balance thing, just like we talked about in the previous scenarios, in terms of even designing a streamlined workforce flow for managers to evaluate the potential work-life balance requirements and review this information with HR. So it is a challenge. Designing in itself is a challenge. Trying to streamline the workflow, like we said again, because you want to work out this, someone else wants something different for their work-life balance. Another person wants something different. So it becomes a challenge to design a streamlined workflow and even to enable managers also evaluate the potential work-life balance requirements, because the requirements could be many or the options are there, and just matching these options to the different levels of people or the different groupings of people could also be a challenge. Then again, it's important to write or to provide managers with information they need to assess the employees and tools to share and collaborate for offering work-life balance options in the organization. So it's important to provide managers with information they need to assess there. So this provision of information could also be a challenge in terms of maybe you don't have the accurate information in terms of these employees. This means there's so much of these employee issues you're supposed to be keeping on track, either as a manager or even as HR. So long as you have not updated your records, you're not able to then give proper information or adequate information at that point in time to help them manage their work-life balance planning of sorts. So that would be a challenge again. It's crucial to continually update basic employee information in your enterprise's system. Now, another thing, now the system, it's crucial to update basic employee information in your enterprise's system of record and automatically receive updated information. So again, sometimes if the system fails and yet you are already on your program. Paula, you want to say something? Paula? Your hand is up?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry, it's all right. So we are saying that because of system issues, you might find that there are delays in terms of even working out this plan. So it becomes an issue or a challenge for you. This is the challenge of work-life balance planning. It's also critical that information systems should be integrated with existing workflow solutions. Now, integrating the system with the workflow solutions to help make work-life balance planning an integrated part of the organization. So it is critical, yes, but again, if there are delays in this, if the systems are not working well, if the employees are not also well trained to work on these systems, then they might not be able to make the work-life balance plan work well and give you the results you want, because then it means if the system workflow is good, it will help in bringing out the solutions that help in the planning. And if the system is not working well, then it means there are delays in those plans. So they delay everything else, and you find that even up to the work-life balance implementation, there would be maybe an issue. The system should also display other relevant data, such as employee readiness, key competencies required to work for work-life balance options, employee tenure, well as previous roles in the organization. So you can see all these things that are needed or that are supposed to be used in the system. So you find that the users who may be adding even this information to the system can get tired, or sometimes even creating and doing all these calculations can become an issue, because again, when they feed garbage in, you also get garbage out. So if they don't put the accurate data into the system, you find that you lose out in terms of making informed decisions, in terms of bringing out the work-life balance that is appropriate for the employees in question. Then again, we are saying it's crucial that conditional formatting of data should be done that draws attention to at-risk departments and help focus HR professionals' efforts in ensuring that the organization has an actionable and up-to-date work-life balance plan for key employees. Conditional formatting of data should be done all the time, because it would help also draw attention, like we were saying, to the risk departments. We said earlier on that sometimes it's good to understand which are these departments that need this work-life balance more, or maybe urgently, before others are considered, or which ones need which kind of work-life balance, as opposed to another area which needs a totally different work-life balance strategy. So if we can read this, a study found a study has found out that company work-life balance related culture and reputation and its senior leadership yield enormous influence over employees' attitude. Hence, organizations can create more positive work-life balance related environments for their workforce, helping them gain greater work-life balance, leading to higher productivity, engagement, and success when these factors combine with positive direct manager relationships. Just like we have said again, encourage relationship, encourage dialogue, encourage teamwork, encourage communication. All these things help in making our work-life balance strategy work well. Now let's then finally look at the tips for work-life balance planning. How do you then do your planning? So planning would be done like this. Planning would be done like this. So we are saying that to effectively implement the work-life balance plan, can someone please help to read? This one we just read so we understand. That's just about 5 of them. Guys, your time. Okay, Paula, please read for us. Paula, please.
Okay, work-life balance. To effectively implement a work-life balance, you need to consider a number of elements, such as the following. What are the key areas of work-life balance that require development within your company? And what is the long-term work-life balance direction of your company? And do you have an effective work-life balance plan guiding your course and direction? Do I continue?
Yeah, continue, please.
To effectively, okay. What's the next?
Just continue with this, whatever that are in the boxes. Mm-hmm.
Are you concentrating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The one of, are you concentrating your work?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you concentrating your work-life balance efforts in the areas where the work-life balance requirements are the most needed? What are the work-life balance paths that your most talented people should be following? Is each path customized to fit the needs of the people involved?
Continue.
How does the concept of work-life balance planning fit into your strategies? Should you wait for work-life balance needs to appear before offering options, or should you make opportunities for each individual as they grow and mature so that you do not lose them due to poor work-life balance?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who are the key people you want to develop and nurture for the future so that they should be offered work-life balance and kept happy? What work-life balance strategies should you be considering for your work-life balance planning process?
Wow. Okay, so that's all.
Okay, thank you.
We are saying that we have considerations. Sorry, we have considerations in terms of the tips for work-life balance planning. Like these are just tips. It's important to look at areas where you need to develop in terms of the organization. You need to look at the long term. What is the long-term kind of deliverable you want? What do you want to achieve at some point in time? And which plans are there already in place? Then you also need to understand where do you need to concentrate your efforts in terms of even developing a work-life balance plan. Where do you put your efforts? Which parts should be? Like who are the most talented employees in your organization? What can you do for them maybe to keep them, to maintain them in terms of being part of your organization because of what they achieve as a work-life balance strategy? How does this concept of work-life balance fit into your strategy? It's very important to understand that. And also when asking questions like, should you wait? Should you really wait for something to happen for you to implement a work-life balance strategy? Maybe you should be even proactive, so you're able to start thinking ahead before it happens. Okay, maybe for a long time, most of us did not think about the COVID thing, or we never thought COVID would ever hit us. So it has come with the very extraordinary things or extraordinary operations. So it is making us also start working or looking at things in a very extraordinary way. So some of us are just struggling to see where we fit and how we can move on. And that's why sometimes these things are good to share. We are sharing because we want to learn from each other. What you are doing could be too monotonous. Could we pick something from even what somebody else is doing to make even life more meaningful? in terms of how they're balancing their work life and how they're able to meet the organizational needs. And then it's important to also understand whom do you want to nurture, whom do you want to keep, because sometimes you want to nurture someone you want to keep. You don't want to nurture someone, then you want to, the following day they're already gone. Again, it's not good to stick to employees. It's good you nurture them, so even where they go, they'll be saying that I got this or I learned this from ABC. But it's good that you nurture them so they can also give something for you before they eventually even leave the organization. And then, which work-life balance strategies have worked well for you? It's also good to consider that, because maybe that is what would just be good for you at that point in time because of the entity you are in, or because of the composition of staff you have, and all that. So I think that's all. So can we have someone reading for us this as we close our meeting? There are 3 slides, I think, of this, and then we are done. Paula, your hand is still up. Please read for us. This is a question which we can do back at home.
Okay. Research on the internet about any top 3 organizations of your choice. Based on your research, answer the following questions. What work-life balance options do these organizations offer to their employees? How is the organization performing compared to its contemporaries in the industry?
I'm sure the organizations we have always wanted to work for, or maybe to work with, or we just associate ourselves with, and we would have loved to be there, but we are not there. So let's look at that and see what would be the best options and what are the, just get to see that. Paula, go ahead and read for us this again.
Peter Lewitt works as a project manager in Web.in Corporation, a leading web designing organization. Peter heads a team of 15 people. Question 1, how can Peter make sure that his team members are not having any work-life balance concerns? Number 2, how can Peter try to offer work-life balance to his team members through his work allocation? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula. So is this something at least that can help us, or is this something we can work with now that at least we've learned something about? We have learned so much to do with the work-life balance. Do we think it's something that we can be able to manage very well for Peter? How can Peter make sure that his team members are not having any work-life balance concerns? And we are saying Peter works as a project manager. We've just talked about these things managers ought to do. We've talked about some of the tips to make work-life balance work. We've talked about the processes. We've talked about some of the things that employees do and employers do, some of what they don't even do, challenges in even planning. So all these things would actually work out if we are able to understand what we've just been doing up to this level, because that is basically what we've just been trying to go through and get to understand. How can Peter try to offer work-life balance to his team members through his work allocation? That's another thing. Sometimes we don't allocate work well. Sometimes we get biased because we know so-and-so works very fast. We take all the work and say, you do. I know you'll do it very fast. And we also disadvantaging this employee. Sometimes they start wanting, now you see, I just know I'm a favorite of my boss, but he also does not look at me the other, because again, people think if you give them too much work, maybe it's also going to come with something additional or some monetary aspect. But imagine this employee you are giving too much work because he's fast at what he does, and you don't appreciate him in any other way other than just saying, I know you do it very well, I know you do it very well, and that is it. They'll get tired at some point and they can actually go away. They can run away and decide that I think enough is enough, I've given you enough, and that is it. But there I have a colleague who worked with me some time back, and at some point she just decided, I'm now going. And when you were asking her, why are you leaving? She said, you see, me, for the time I've been in this organization, my employer has never given me a chance to even give my opinion. They've never sat with me to dialogue with me to understand me. I've had issues when I apply on leave for leave. They don't give me leave at the point when I want. Unfortunately, because I was at work and nobody cared to even understand the kind of role I'm playing up to the work allocation, I spent most of the time reading newspapers on the internet, and I spent most of the time doing an online course. So when I finished that online course, that is what has given me this new job. So I have to do. You can imagine. And all this, she was saying it practically, and she even mentioned it in the exit form. What does that mean? So imagine even the immediate superior, what are they feeling? So sometimes, again, for management, it's good that we even get to some trainings to get to understand how to manage employees, because sometimes we assume too much. Sometimes we just don't like someone's face, but of course, we should not make ourselves get like tied to that to make us make decisions that are not meaningful. So in summary, we talked about approaches for work-life balance planning, which were integrated view. We talked about the early warning signs. We talked about advanced workforce planning. We talked about decision analytics in terms of even getting data, organization spiderweb, where we're getting many options and looking at which ones would work for us, selection and transition focus, and systems evolution, which we did yesterday. Then causes of work-life balance related stresses. We know that sometimes you have workload demands, yeah? A little delay in what you are doing because maybe even someone came to see you at the office, or maybe you were on a phone call trying to manage a client who took too much time of your time. You find that there's that workload demand. And even for those of us who are working from home, you find that maybe even the power issue has gone on for a whole day. My sister the other day works in somewhere in Westlands, but now she's working from home in Kitengela, in Syokimau, Katani. So for 2 days, there was no power, and she was telling me, now you see, my boss might even be thinking that I'm not working because there's no power. So I asked her, what are you doing now? She said, oh, now I'm preparing githeri, and I'm also making chapo, so that when power comes, I've made my lunch for tomorrow and the other day, and I've made even my dinner for today. So I told her, good, at least you're planning yourself. So you see some of these things, workload demands can make you not have a proper work-life balance, but depending on how you can manage that in terms of like her now, she's managing her stress issues. She's also managing her time. She's managing her change in terms of what has changed. The power has just gone off and all that will become an issue. Sometimes she even now decides that she needs to go to the office. So instead of going to Westlands to her office, she even goes to Kitengela, which is nearer where she is. She gives that option because power has gone off. I'm not so sure when it will come back. She calls her boss and says, so now within an hour or within 1.5 hours, I will have now gone to the office at Kitengela to work from there. So that times we have to give options to our own employers to let them know that this is how we can work well. And if agreeable, if they support you, I'm sure you get so committed, or we get so committed. Job sharing is an option like we talked about. Flexi work hours, like we've said again, maybe there are those who work very well at night, there are those who work, different times. Then alternative work patterns will be good because of maybe the regions where we operate in. Then the split shifts, so long as there are policies that have been defined to cushion that so there are no exposures. Then task revision, just revising your tasks. Sometimes we find that now people have left organizations, people are scaling down. So tasks have been revised such that maybe a task that was being taken care of by 3 people is now being taken care of by 1 person. Again, because of technology, every organization is now techno-savvy and things are getting even much better. So you find that we're downscaling, but even getting more efficient. So, okay, so unless someone wants to run through the grocery, I invite any comments. Unless someone wants to run through the grocery, which is just telling us what culture is, attitude and behavior that are characteristics of a particular social group or organization. It can also mean, C can also stand for conflicts, a state of opposition between persons, ideas, or interests. M for manager is someone who controls resources and expenditure. M can be for also morale. Morale is a state of individual psychological well-being based on sense of confidence. Personal, concerning of affecting a particular person or his or her private life and personality. Performance, process or manner in which functioning. Rewards, benefits resulting from some event or action. Recognition, acknowledgement, praise, or respect for. Subordinate, an assistant subject to the authority or control of another, and strengths are assets of special worth. So anyway, you finished your course for today. Your trainer, again, like I've said, Jocelyn Omusebe, CHRP. I've been training for many days, many years for people. And unless someone has a question, you can ask. Anyone with a concern, you can ask. And like I said, mentioned again on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we are having On Tuesday, we are having, on Monday and Tuesday, we are having Agnes Mweni, who is going to take you through training needs analysis. So, thank you, Jen Wanjohi. I can see your comment here. Any person, any other person with a comment, maybe a concern or something we can share before our time is up? We have about 15 minutes. I'm hoping at least you got something from this. We both learned something. I'm very excited about the contributions most of us have given in terms of the experiences they have had, especially when it comes to work-life balance, working from home, the COVID pandemic, the age groupings, because again, that is something I know most of us enjoyed to work with. Erin, thank you very much. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you very much, Paula. So good session, important learnings to be applied. Thank you, Polycarp. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you very much. You people have been very good, very interactive. I liked it also because, yeah, it's something that has a lot of gray areas to learn from. Thank you very much. So maybe because I have nothing else to add to what we've just discussed, and nobody else has something of concern, maybe we close it there. Enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. Thank you, Lydia. Interactions were actually good. I loved them. Vina, thank you very much. So let's again hype ourselves to the next sessions with the Mwalimu Agnes. Margaret, thank you very much. That was good. It was good having you on board also. This really feels, it's really unfortunate that we are not all there. I wish we were like where we can actually like mingle and all that. We even go for a cup of tea together, but COVID is here with us. So we have just to change the way we do things. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Wangeshi. Wangeshi works in a church too. That's really interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Perpetual. Thank you, Charity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wangeshi, really nice. Wangeshi, Miriam. At Gail, not at Gmail.
Sorry, I typed in a hurry before we left. It's Gmail. Let me just retype it.
Thank you. I was just guessing it. Wangeshi, Miriam. At gmail.com, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Fatma. Thank you, Ryle. Thank you, Margaret. It was really nice having you guys. I think then we can leave because if there's nothing else we are doing. So then it's caught up in some engagement, like I told you again. So he was not able to be here with us. Thank you, Ryan. Then is caught up in some engagement, not able to be here with us, but of course, you have his blessings. Wesley, thank you. I work with county government and issues. Wesley will talk again. Charity, thank you very much. Bye. Achiro, thank you very much. Wesley, we should talk again, Wesley.
Thank you.
Achiro, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. It was a good session. Be blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maybe someone wants my number, 0725 921961. Thank you, Joyce. 0725 921961. Maybe I type it.
Please.
2592191. There it is. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope it was meaningful. At least it added some value to your daily operations, and that you'll also gain something in the next sessions. Thank you for being part of people who have benefited from the bundle. And it's always good at least to tap into new information and new trainings all the time, because they help you gain so much. They help you give you, like they're an eye opener to all of us. So thank you, Miriam. Trainings are an eye opener. And learning never ends. Like we always say, learning never ends. People are always learning, so never ends. So thank you guys, and bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend too. Thank you and bye. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, the participation was really nice. Thank you, Miriam. It added value. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you and bye. Okay, so we are free to leave. Bye now until we meet another time again, if there'll be something else we need to share. It was nice having you. Enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend.